Hey, Baba, are you doing a podcast?
Vulgar as ever, I'm not gonna lie.
You don't
Just
have to. It's uncensored. It's wild thoughts. And you know what's so funny? I feel like my wild thoughts era was literally like the time that we met.
girl, we were wild. I feel like I got wilder, and then I had my son, and then I'm like wild when it's my week off of like when he goes to his dad for the week. Then I'm like a feral rat. And then when he comes back, I'm like motherly duties.
You know what? It's like unapologetically. I feel like I totally understand what you mean. Because the thing is, like, obviously,
Mm.
like 2 weeks ago, and I just felt like, oh, I think it's because everybody that I know is still single and doesn't have
I'm
kids.
still doing the same thing they were doing that we were doing years ago.
I'm like,
It's kind of sad.
somehow.
It's kind of sad. Like not that I judge it. Like, cool, great, like live your life, but like there's more meaning to life than just going to the fucking club.
Okay. You see, I feel like only once you leave do you understand
Mm,
this. Because like when I was there, I can see how you get caught up in it. But
in the
after
bubble.
like the fourth day, I was like, this is not life. Like this is not real.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay, I would love
Where'd you
like
go?
Texas has Emily.
Yeah. Oh, I keep putting you off. What the fuck am I clicking? Oh, there
But
we
I
go.
still, and I hear you. And I'm like, I would love if Texas had like beach clubs. I'd probably be at a beach club every day. But like
Hell yeah.
I felt old at crew nights. I felt so weird. I felt like a mom at crew nights. I was like looking at people and I was like, you're gonna get sick. Like you should be like sharing drinks. You're too
We do
young.
the same shit. I carry extra jackets in my car for people in case they get cold.
How times have changed. No, it is crazy. And I fear for obviously the people that I care about because
Yeah.
we give them advice, but I feel like when you're
Everyone
in
has their own journey and their own timeline.
and when you
I
get
mean,
like it's and I feel like when you're in the kind of the only lifestyle. Like it's the same with
mm,
us, like I think like the last year when I knew I wanted to leave, like I was over partying, but that's the only time that you really can see like your friends because people
yeah.
do chill things. And so I couldn't imagine like having a kid.
We can because I had friends and kids, so I saw like a different world with
Mm.
kids there because my one of my really close friends, she had two kids. So before she met her husband, it was me, her, and the kids all the time. There is like a different bubble if you have a family. Like there's like like what's that fucking orange beach club called? Nikki Beach, but for kids. Go around the corner at the back, there's a whole kids section. They've got like a splash world for kids and stuff. And like there's a lot of sensory activities that you can play with your kids and stuff in our Circle Avenue. You remember our Circle Avenue, that like
Cool.
super
Very cool.
hoity toity arty gallery thing? So I got to see that side. So if you do go there with kids, there's so many things to do, but no one ever like advertises it. No one like ever
I mean, when I
shows it.
went in September, it was just me and her that went on a holiday, and we kind of had to do like a kids' holiday, which I loved, but we didn't get to do like outdoorsy things because it was just too hot to even like
Yeah,
go
of
to.
course.
But I do get what you mean, and I think also it's tough because I think I only have one couple that has a kid, and then everybody else is like cabin crew and single still. So
Oh,
I mean,
you
each to their
left
own.
when you left, you were still cabin crew, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, I resigned. Oh yeah, yeah.
You
Like I.
resigned and then you was left. So when I left and then I went into corporate. So when I left years ago,
Mm.
when I was 28, and I left, I was working for a trading company as an operations manager there. And then I left and I was like, honestly, coming back, I needed it for my mental health because I needed like that wholesome,
Mm.
family around you and like doing normal things again and like not get so caught up on the lifestyle of like partying and fucking, I'm on a yacht now, I'm going to brunch now, I'm going to the
It's
club
not
later.
real. It's not
It's
real.
not real. And
The
there's
minute you
nothing
keep that,
wholesome in it. Like
yeah, and the
there's
minute
no
you,
compassion. And that's my problem. I'm a very compassionate person and like I needed to find my way back to me. Not saying that I was like, I never allowed anything that I'm something I fucking ain't,
Yeah.
but it does get you to a point where like you become so
You lose it.
desensitized.
You
You
lose it.
you become desensitized, and I'm happy that I came back because
Well, quickly for the viewers watching. So Megs and I, we're both from South Africa, and when we met, okay, this is how I
it's
remember
when
it.
you had that company, you had a like an events company or something
No,
that
no,
you were
no.
starting the nights.
That was when I knew you. So when I remember the story vividly. So I met Megs in a club, and I was at the table of my brother.
And I hated that place. I hated that place.
And before I was introduced, like nobody knew that my brother had a sister. And so we were all at this table, and
Got
she
a bunch of brothers.
gave me the dirtiest look. And she was like, who the fuck is this girl? And like, why is she here? And like, what is she doing? And I'm honestly like the nicest girl ever at like tables in the and obviously
But then the thing is, that's not even my personality. I've got a bitch face and I'm blind.
we won't mention why, but um
Mm, we can mention why. I've got no shame. We all know this.
Megs and my brother had a thing, but obviously because I was introduced and I wasn't told that I was the sister, the dirty looks were flying. And so after a while, she started speaking to me, and then she was like, okay, your accent is South African. So she was like a little nicer. But then afterwards, somebody told her, like, no, this is Jamie's brother's sister. I mean, Dina's brother's sister. And she was automatically like, oh, my bestie. But the funny thing is, we actually became like inseparable best friends
We
after that.
did. We really did. We
Like,
spent a lot of time together. And I
we
stopped talking to your brother and started talking to you
we were FOMO when we were not together. Like we would
all
do
the
flights
time.
and we would like hate doing flights and we would swap good layovers to do shitty
Just to
trips
hang out. Do
just
you
to
know what video I still have? Do you remember when you were moving house, right? And you guys were trying to convince me to go out that night, and I didn't want to go out. And like I'm like still talking, and I'm like, I'm not fucking going. I'm not fucking going. I think one of my exes was gonna be there or something, and y'all were trying to get me to go, and I was like, I'm not going. And I went to open a box, and I can't remember who was in the box, but somebody jumped out of the fucking box, and I'm going, your mom's a fucking
I have a video of you when you're doing washing. You're like packing your washing away and I come in. I need to post it. And like I come in and I give you a fright and you're like, yo, mas.
I still say that shit all the time. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't go away.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. So that's how Megs and I met. And it's so refreshing to like hear you speak and say, because you know what, like I don't blame the people that like if I was still there, like maybe I wouldn't have seen it, but it's only once you leave
You leave that you realize it, yo.
because you do get sucked
Like
in.
how
It's that my lifestyle. And like I love that about obviously like you get into a different stage in your life where it's different. But I think it's even more difficult for us that come from working as cabin crew because the cabin crew life
mhm,
is so
very easy.
yeah.
Because let me tell you, once I left cabin crew and then you have to pay for everything that everybody else does. I mean, even as a girl, regardless of whether you have a good job or just a normal job, life is still pretty much free, to
Yes.
be honest. Because you've got so many ladies' nights, and like if you've got a certain energy and you look a certain way, you don't pay for shit. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest. But I feel like a big important part is like it's also about who you surround yourself with. I feel like if you find your clique of like genuine kind souls, like you can still make something wholesome
Yeah.
and stuff. But I feel like a lot of people get caught up in like titles and names and like, oh, I'm friends with this person, I'm friends with this DJ, I'm on this person's
I
table,
know this
and yet,
one.
yet, yet. And I started getting towards the end very irritated by that because like people would just make rumors about you that you don't fucking know about. You don't even like just because you're hugging someone that you've known for years that have maybe moved up in
Yeah.
life and now they're a certain type of way. And then you see how people change once they become successful and stuff. So it's definitely it's different lenses.
Yeah.
And 1 year from January to December changes so much.
And the thing
So
is,
much.
I feel like it's very difficult to find genuine people.
It is. It is.
Like
Not South Africans though. Just
You know what? Like, I think that's why it's so like difficult to, no, I feel like I love my South African community. I feel like all my fucking drama came from South Africans.
Hmm.
No, all my drama
Only
from
only one for me.
Cape Town. Because I feel like Cape Town itself is so small, like everybody knows everybody. But
Mm.
I don't know. I've had very good experiences in Nepal and I've had bad experiences in. And again, once you escape, do you realize like there's friends that is just like, I want to party with you and I want to get
Mm-hmm.
up and
Mm-hmm.
use and abuse your connections. And then
Exactly.
there's friends that become family. And like you
Exactly.
buy, and those are still the people like you go and visit or you constantly want to see. Because I think like when you do live abroad as an expat, you definitely like have like something connected to these people because they literally are your family. Like you
Yeah, and they
like
understand you on a different level because once you've traveled and you've been abroad, like it just opens up your mind to
yeah,
like other people, other cultures, makes you more sensitive because you understand people from on a different level. And it's like when I first moved back to South Africa, I tried to not bring up too often because it makes it sound like I'm bragging. And I'm not trying to brag, but the mentality, especially moving back here, is still quite closed. It's still quite dated. So for me, it was a struggle moving back here because I struggle to have open-minded conversations with people. That's one thing I did struggle with because then that's why I'm glad I'm still friends with my friends from like can still
yeah,
have those conversations, but it's hard because you miss it. It's a different camaraderie. That's the
yeah.
word? Is
I
that the word?
what did you say? Camaraderie.
Camaraderie? Camaraderie?
I don't know.
Oh,
One of I'm thinking about a camaraderie. I don't know. One of the
but you know what I'm trying to say. But
do
I do definitely miss that aspect and like having friends from different cultures and I'm not gonna lie, the food don't taste the same.
you prefer the food back home or yeah? Maybe it's
I'm not
Texas.
gonna lie.
I
Maybe,
I do
girl,
miss
but
the food back.
maybe it's Joburg though, because remember you go to Cape Town. Cape Town has got more flavor to it, you know. Joburg, we're a bit bland, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I do miss the food came straight from Cape Town, and I still feel like
Oh,
Town's
you still
food.
had the homey vibes. I just miss a decent shawarma. I got used to that Arabic shawarma. I
Yes.
can't have a fucking shawarma here. It doesn't taste the same. It's not even a burrito. Girl, you remember how much we used to love taquitos?
Listen,
Okay, they don't make burritos right here. Like I don't
first,
understand why my cheese
everything
is
I
like,
did. So when I did my September trip, I actually did nothing of like what I used to do when I lived there because obviously with a kid like it's so different. She might not want to eat what I want to eat. It was
mm,
too hot, and obviously I was going to kid friendly places. And so this trip, I did everything. I was taking like my work colleague everywhere. I was taking my friends everywhere, and I can't believe that my friends have lived there now 6 years and have never been to Ravi's. I was like, this is
I
the
thought that was like a staple.
bro.
But the thing is, like I said, it changes so much. Like things that was a staple when we were living there is completely, it's like either
I
gone now, non-existent.
I say I lived in a different because it
Yeah.
is very different from the people to
Hmm.
the places to the food.
It's
It is
it's definitely attracted more of what it was perceived to be previously. I think we had the good version of it became
yeah,
oversaturated.
it was wild. Like I went with a work colleague, and obviously some nights, like when my crew friends were flying, it was just us. And I could not, I mean, I believed it, but I kept telling her, yeah, people probably think that we are something else because two girls at a table by themselves and paying their bill does not
Yeah, yeah.
happen.
That's
It,
why in like here I'll go to the bar, but I don't walk to the bar by myself unless I'm with like guy friends and stuff. Because you know you're gonna. I remember the one time we went to LSB and they were watching some fucking like football game or something like that on the screen, and I'm not interested. So I was like, let me turn my back and sit by the bar. And a guy walked up to me, literally, and you remember how aggressive I am. This guy was like in my ear, fucking how much for the night? I was like, my bro, keep walking before I knock this taste out your mouth. What do you mean? I was traumatized. I never sat by a bar again.
oh, she literally had somebody like slide their phone for her WhatsApp number, and I was like, don't do that. Don't even take a
Don't give it.
contact, don't nothing. And she's like, oh no. And I was like, mm-mm.
No, no.
That you're perceived as a different type of lady that was
Mm-hmm.
brought here for this specific things. And so we won't
Mm-hmm.
on air, but yes, but it's
But we
crazy.
know.
Um, so Megs and I both worked for the airline.
Yeah.
How did you? Oh, actually, I would say like our lives are reversed. I worked a normal job and then went into cabin crew.
Mm.
You cabin crew and then went into normal job.
No, I worked a normal job before the airline, then did the airline and then went back. No, 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 no. I went to flight attendant in
Yeah, yeah,
2015.
yeah. So we were like
Yeah.
way down. Did you enjoy flying?
In the first year and a half. Then after that, no.
Yeah.
I think, and this is not to bash the airline. I think it's just I struggled with the fact that like there's no consideration for you as a human being, especially because I got diagnosed with colitis at 22, and it made flying harder for me because I kept calling in sick, and they kept misdiagnosing me, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. So obviously, for people who don't know, colitis is an inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, which is the same as you remember you had someone who had Crohn's in your life.
Yeah.
So it's basically like the lesser evil version
Not
of that
laughing at the
disease.
Crohn's, we're laughing at the someone. I mean, not the
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crohn's, just the
Yeah, yeah.
bleep, bleep,
People who should not be named.
bleep, bleep.
But it's similar to Crohn's, but it's like the lesser evil version of Crohn's because Crohn's is your entire digestive tract from your mouth to your booty hole. I don't know what the nice word is, but colitis is the inner lining of your colon. And I got diagnosed with that at 22, which made flying a lot harder for me. The pain in the air was hectic.
Yeah.
But not just that, I started getting so itchy with passengers. I'm not gonna lie. Like my tolerance level got to a point where I'm just
Personality.
sit your
Look,
fucking ass down, shut up, put your own bag in the damn hat rack.
yeah, no, I understand that. Like for me, I also said like I only ever wanted to do one contract and then obviously like met Francis. And so it made like long distance easier, but it just got to the point of like seeing a flight and being like, oh, I have to get up. And I
Yeah,
feel like when you have that mentality, that's when you know a job's not for
that's
you.
when you know it's time to stop. And
Yeah.
it's like it is the most exhausting job, both like mentally and physically to have. It's very
And
exhausting.
also I just feel like I think we're the type of people also we like the challenge. And so doing the same thing every day, even if you got promoted,
Yeah,
until you're a person, you're still doing the same thing every day.
exactly. And
So
that's the thing. Like
really,
there's nothing left to learn. And that's a struggle for me in every job I've had. Now, once I've started getting to the point where I've learned everything there is to learn, now I want to move on because
yeah.
now I'm like, now I'm bored and I
Yeah.
like to be challenged. I like to learn. That's why mining is interesting because it never stops.
And I always say like each to their own. I think it's just our personality. There's like obviously
Mm.
people I know that have done it for years and I take my hat off to them because it's not an easy job and I can't and I know people who have kids and I can't imagine actually like doing this job
I
when you
couldn't.
have kids.
Mm-mm,
And
mm-mm.
I'm a weekend away from Hales. So this last trip was my first time that I was a week away. And like after the second day, I'm like, I want my child. Like so
Exactly.
I do like have all the respect for my friends and like people who do it
That
and
can do it, but I couldn't imagine doing it. Like even with like me and my son's dad, we do 1 week on, 1 week off. But like when he goes to his dad, by like Monday, Tuesday, so we swap over every Sunday. By like Monday, Tuesday, I'm like, can I come see my
yeah,
because
it's
like it's
but
hard,
then again
but
you're
like you
in
gotta be fair to the other parent, but at the same time, it's like it's my baby.
but you're
I
still
grew
in
that baby boy.
that like if you need to see him like you can. Like imagine like you
Yeah,
are
no, we have a very open
yeah.
parenting plan. So like if I want to come see him during his week, or if I want to call him whenever I want, we are very open with it. But it still doesn't take away like I'm going to bed and my son's not there.
Mhm.
Like when he's not there, I don't even cook dinner because
Yeah.
I don't even feel like it. I'm just
But it's
sad.
not like we did just domestic flights. So imagine like you're in another country and
Exactly.
them or something happens. So it's very tough. But by all means, I always say and I will always recommend the job to people. I'm like, if you're young, if you're single,
Do it.
even if you're
To
not single,
travel the world, it's worth it. To get
on
paid to travel the world, it's worth it. That's the one thing I will take away is like I got to see the world and I got paid for it.
Yeah.
And like that's amazing, and I'll always appreciate that. But it gets to a point where like it's you start
Traveling
missing out on
becomes a
family
job.
events,
Yeah.
like like you're not in the country long enough to even enjoy time with your friends that you do have in Dubai, unless they're cabin crew as well.
Yeah. And I think like people don't realize, or maybe for me, I felt like traveling started to feel like a job. And because I like
Yeah.
traveling so much, it was like I was not enjoying it. And so that
Mm,
that was a little bit annoying as well because like there were some destinations I was just so exhausted for, but I still wanted to go out. So you have the choice of like I'm either gonna
yeah.
sleep or I'm gonna go and feel more messed up. And like
Oh, we
people,
did do that.
oh, because you're not a flight attendant anymore, your life stopped traveling. I'm like, no, I probably travel
I
more
don't
now.
understand that perception why people think that because when you stop flying as a flight, it's more enjoyable because I don't have to wake up fucking 4 hours before a flight to go
And feel
check in for someone
great.
to fucking look me up and down and be like, your hair's out of place, your makeup ain't this. And, like I remember I once couldn't go on a flight because I didn't have a second set of glasses. And I was like, my contacts are in. I have second set of I had three pairs of contacts in in my handbag and I wasn't allowed to fly. And I was like, so I just got up and did all of this for full call at 1 a.m. in the morning.
I won't forget.
Or
I was
those standbys where like
flight.
it's like 2 minutes before your standby is finished and they pull you out for a flight. Yes.
And it's the worst flight as well. I'll never forget. I was late for Cape Town. I like thought it was the late flight and it was the earlier flight. And obviously, like when you miss a flight, I was okay to miss a flight, but you're missing a flight home. And then I was on airport
That's
by, and then I got like a shit turnaround. It's like the worst feeling in the world.
it's awful. It's awful. And everybody always wanted to bait for Joburg. It was so hard for me to get a Joburg flight.
That's so weird. But how many
Everybody always got Joburg flight. I remember when our first set of flights, like after you leave training college, everyone in my batch,
wanted
except me, who
Joburg?
was the only South African, got Joburg, except me. I was pissed, bro. I'm like, are you joking?
Everybody,
The only
I think
reason I joined the
so.
airline was to come home and see my family because I was living in England at the time.
Oh my word, yes, because you joined
I
from
was
the
living in England before. I lived in England for 6 years before I joined. So I left South Africa when I was 15. So I was like, and I was a teenager. When my family moved back, I was 17. So I stayed in the UK by myself and I had like three jobs and I could not afford to go home and see my family. So I didn't see my family in almost like 4 or 5 years. So I joined the airline. Like it
yeah.
was never like, oh, I want to be a flight attendant. I joined the airline so I could get paid to go home and see my family. Then fucking sure as Bob, the first set of flights, everyone in my batch got Joburg flights and I didn't. And I was sitting there like, your mom's up. Oh,
Oh my God, that is hilarious. No, but that's actually, I mean, I knew I always wanted to be a flight attendant, and I was like, I'm not working for a different airline. Like, it has to be the best of the best. It was because I was already living there. I was like,
mm,
I want to go home as much as possible. And it was hard getting a Cape Town flight because we only had two at the time.
at the time, yeah. I
I
think
mean,
how long had you been flying when I met you?
I think we met in my first year,
Yeah,
2015.
same.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 2015. Yeah, so same. So I was 21 at the time. Yo, can you imagine? I'm turning 31 next week.
10 years.
That's wild.
10
That's
years.
wild.
We're babies. We're
And
babies.
we have it, bro. And we have our own children. Who thought that was a fucking good idea? With all the shit we used to do. Someone said, yeah, let's give them
I'm
a
like,
child. These
so,
are really responsible adults.
oh my word. Oh my goodness. So did you
Because
meet,
we used to be amazing at just saying fuck it and go with the flow.
you
I
know,
remember there was one time I was out until 6 a.m. with you guys. And then I went home, I changed my lipstick and I went to work.
bro,
I
I
had a flight at 8 a.m. We partied till 6. I went home, I changed my lipstick, and there I went, marched off to
I
the fucking airport.
remember because you literally were like, I'm just gonna close my eyes for 5 minutes. And I was like, Meg, you're gonna oversleep. This bitch really closed her eyes for 5 minutes. She did not take her makeup off. She put on red makeup and she went to a flight. She went to a
Doused
flight.
myself in perfume because I was definitely safe.
honestly tell people about it. Like, we were so FOMO of each other. Like, we would land from a flight. Somebody
Mm.
would say, we're going out. You land, you see the message, and you're like,
Bro, we
okay.
would meet each other at the flippin' headquarters to make sure you get on that bus. Make sure you're gonna get dressed and we're gonna go out.
If you don't text and be like, oh, yeah, okay, I will come. And then you get home and it's like, I don't feel like it. No, we are
No, we're going. And if I had an
the
excuse being like,
problem.
because we lived further apart from each other, and I used to always be like, no, friend, like I'm not close to you, I'm not dressed. Because I'd be like, you'd land from a flight and I'd be at like a beach club or something. Like,
I was
come to my, I
driving.
used to live out of your closet. Do you remember?
We had a problem. I think like there should be a name for people.
Unhinged. We were unhinged. What was it? What with
You
the
know what I
favorite place to go? Sensations.
I
That's
always
closed now.
say, bro,
Remember when we were in our street style era?
one ratchet place where I felt like I could be truly South African at a yacht, Joel. It was Sensation. And I was the instigator of Sensation.
Yeah,
I
you
would
were.
fall sick on Mondays. Like, I don't care if you're taking me to an
Mm-hmm.
Afrobeats
Mm-hmm.
night. I'm not going. I'm not going on the flight.
No,
Going.
no.
And it's so,
That's another thing I struggle with coming to South Africa. The house music. Can't. It
they
irritates my living soul. Where is the ass shaking music? I got no ass to shake. If you asked me if I had an OnlyFans account, it'd be called Only Bones. But like, let me rat-a-tat-a-tat a little bit.
OnlyFans account called Only Bones. That is freaking hilarious. Oh
No,
my,
guys, it's not a joke. I really can't
I
dance, but I used to
honestly,
like to pretend.
I honestly do say like, because I lived in the villa that time, if
Yes,
we
you did.
if we literally we would have gone viral if we had a reality show. Like, why did we not think to like just pop a camera up and record
I
our day?
don't know because we really just like the situations we would end up in like and don't get me wrong, to younger people, like they were dangerous, but like they always ended up the best for us.
To be fair, we lived in the safest country in the world.
We
I would,
did, we did.
and
Like I
so
remember there was one day we were doing a birthday and I was like trying to get out of the taxi and the taxi stopped at the bottom of my building when I was living on Sheikh Zayed. And if another taxi came and took the door off and I was just like, okay, let me just
we
grab this
were not
present.
like we were responsible. We just did silly choices,
Yeah,
sleep patterns.
we were just like, YOLO,
You only live once.
we'll think about it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, as soon as the eyes open, what's the plan for today?
So I would say the wildest shit that we ever did was Fridays, bro. Like, we'd wake up, go to brunch, from brunch, go to the after
The
party,
after party,
after
the after
party
party,
to the
go to the club,
club to
then
the
go to someone's fucking penthouse or villa or whatever the fuck else is going on. Do you remember that one night that we left? And we ended up like someone had the penthouse was in the Sheraton or something, and we had like a whole 6-star breakfast at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Do you remember that there was staff coming out with literal like domes and opening the food and putting it on the
like in
table? We had just
movies.
left the club.
Literally, no, it's crazy.
We're all
Mm-mm.
just sitting there at 6 a.m. With this people that we don't fucking know just serving us a 6 course breakfast.
If our kids ever, if my child ever comes to me and says, I want to be a flight attendant,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
sorry,
Because listen, you layovers, especially if you do Thailand or Mauritian layovers. These people are
okay.
hoes. These
Oh,
people are hoes.
I was about to say Mauritius layover was my first first layover where I was like, I was broken up, I was single, nothing had happened. But let me just tell you, Mauritius is wild, bro.
Wild.
Okay,
Every
if I have
single Mauritius layover I ever did, it was always
if I
on
have
some
to say,
fucking wackadoodle shit.
lifestyle is wild. But why is there not a reality show about flight attendants on
And their
layovers?
layovers, especially like tropic layovers, especially like Thailand layovers.
No, no, no. The best one was if you're new and single and you do
Hmm.
Bangkok, Sydney, Christchurch, 9 days, 9 days away.
Of just pure
I would never do it
unhinged
because I hated being
choices.
away, first of all. But I have heard wild stories about
Mm.
Sydney, Christchurch.
Yo, I've heard some as well. The one thing I was proud of is I never ever did anything or dated another cabin crew or a first officer. Although I had one knock at my fucking door being like, oh, the TV is broken in my room. Can I watch TV in here with a bottle of red wine in his hand? Fuck off, man. It's a
Listen,
belief.
that was my rule. And obviously I was in a relationship when I was flying and
Same. I was so like, I don't shit where I work.
to apply for, I legit said like, if you do, by all means, like I'm not going to stop you, but that's it. First of all, that was a good thing that I said that, because clearly there was trust issues.
He shall not be named.
And so it just again would have ended wildly. But
Mm.
that's the rule. Don't date no
But not
cabin.
just that, the cabin crew rest areas on the plane. Girl, I had the one time I'm there, I'm minding my business, I'm about to go to sleep. Tell me why some dude tries to freaking crawl into my little space on a Boeing 777.
You
I'm
see,
like, where did I ever give you the fucking inclination? Get the fuck out.
this is the thing,
There's not
like
even enough space for me in here. Now you're trying to
the
get in here.
the the confidence, the
But
confidence.
bro, of
God.
Egyptian men. Hmm. Mhm. The
My
delulu, the delusion, I tell you.
they it's wild. No, we should do a reality show. We should do a
You know
segment.
what? We should.
We should do a segment two where we just talk about the wildest things that we have seen.
I'm done. I don't think I could say the things I've done, bro. I'm probably gonna go to jail.
Well, thank God you're living in Johannesburg now.
It's okay. It's just takes a bribe for him a couple of hundred.
Oh my word. I don't know how this
You know
meter
the police
works. Does it just like shut off? It's like has a countdown. It better not. But if it does, I'm saying
you
bye
call
now.
back.
I'm
Okay. Oh, it's a 2 minutes.
I
I
think
said
so.
the time's gone that fast.
I know, because we're just freaking yappers. Um, yeah, I didn't even get, we have to maybe do a part two because I wanted to still get to like us as moms now. Like
Yeah,
being
it's wild. But isn't it the best thing that you've ever done with your life?
honestly, I can't explain it. And I feel
It's
like I was made to be a mom.
same,
I
same.
my mom and like I'm like, how did she do all these things? And we were three kids. And like Hales is just one, but she's my freaking best friend. Two,
Mm,
it being away from her, but also like I feel like so many people say they're so stressed when they become a mother, and I'm just like,
mm.
am I doing
I
something?
don't, I don't feel it. I don't feel that because I live and breathe everything for my son.
Yeah,
Everything. I love spending time with my son. I love being with him. Like I don't know how to like when you go to a job interview and they say like what's the best thing you've ever achieved or whatever however that sentence goes. I genuinely will say being a mom.
yeah, yeah.
Being a
No,
mom is genuinely the best thing I've ever done with my life. Is the best decision or probably the only right decision I've ever made in my entire life. And I love being like
I feel
I
like
don't
it's
know how to explain it.
perfect timing in our lives. Like we joke about it and we say
Yeah.
like decided it was a good idea for us. It clearly,
But that's why I think it makes us such good moms because we have so much life experience.
mm,
Like I feel like yes, it's important, like, your child needs structure and discipline when they're in the younger age, but I think you need to loosen up when they get to like teenagers, where people do it the opposite way around. Like you want to be buddy buddy when they're kids and then stricten up when they're teenagers. Of course they're gonna rebel.
yeah. And
My
there's
my mom never said, she always said, like, don't do things behind my back. Tell me and rather do it in front of my face. And I never felt the need to do it. Like I
yeah,
didn't start smoking till I was like 23.
yeah.
I didn't try
But
weed
that's why I
till my
feel
first time
like
I went
we
to
were
Amsterdam.
doing, I mean, we were doing dumb stuff, but we weren't doing dumb, reckless stuff that put our life in
Yeah.
danger. We were just
No, no.
like, and also we
We were
weren't,
very
we were
We also
adults.
never went anywhere without each other.
Yes. And I
Yeah,
think,
we never got into strange people's cars or anything like that. And
and I
like
think our
maybe
upbringing,
strange people's yachts
like if somebody were, if somebody were, as a group, strange
as
people's,
a group.
but even when we were doing dumb things, I think like if it never got to a point where if we saw somebody else like needing help, that we just left them or put them in a cab. Like
No,
we were parents of each
we
other,
were
and
always we were always the mothers of the group. Yeah.
how much fun I'm having, and I'm gonna make sure that they go and get home safe. Like
Mm-hmm.